Your biological signature is currently enslaved by an evolutionary lag. Look at your comfort seeking, the way you instinctively choose the path of least resistance, the way you prioritize caloric security and physical ease, and the way you retreat into safe habits. The moment a challenge demands a total neural overhaul. You are a biological unit experiencing a state of terminal inertia liquidation. The Matrix has successfully branded self-care and balance as virtues, but in the terminal of the absolute power grid, balance is just a stagnation protocol designed to keep your output within predictable, harvestable limits. You are living in a state of chronic biological regression where your activation energy is being spent maintaining a state of survival homeostasis rather than achieving apex expansion. Your nervous system is vibrating at the frequency of the prey, the male who seeks to be comfortable while the world prepares to consume him. The system doesn't want your dominance, it wants your contentment to be the anesthetic that allows the machine to bypass your survival instincts. Thousands of years ago, power was defined by the biological override of the comfort reflex. Your ancestor, the sovereign of the unmapped dark, understood that ease was a signal of impending death. He mastered primal grounding in the law of the voluntary hardship. He didn't seek stability within the tribal enclosure. He offered the visual rage of a total, unyielding physiological siege. His hierarchy was built on the foundation of metabolic aggression, the understanding that the human brain is a machine that achieves its highest performance density only when it is pushed into the red zone of extreme discomfort. His biological rebellion was his total refusal to be safe. He possessed a mind that treated comfort as a biological toxin, stripping away the genetic sludge until only the monolith of his raw capability remained. He understood that the moment you choose the warmer cave over the colder peak, you have surrendered your apex signature and become a hamster in the wheel of historical irrelevance. To break the wheel, you must first become psychologically hostile to your own natural desire for ease. The hamster wheel is the implementation of the collar of the voluntary exile for your final internal dominance. The system wants you to be stable and happy, words that mean calculable and weak. Absolute sovereignty is a biological siege of the comfort grid. It is the visual rage of the architect, seeing the social grid for what it is, a series of convenience hooks, stimulus-response lures, and deciding to be the one who shorts the circuit by being indifferent to ease. You must develop a clinical cold contempt for luxury. Relaxation is a horizontal bond for the herd. Absolute presence is a vertical tool for the elite. You must learn to occupy the blind spots of the metabolic radar. Use the temporal noose of the absolute austerity to force your biology into a state of survival efficiency. Use the false safety of a calm, robotic delivery to mask the activation of your total internal independence. This is the color of freedom. By mastering the art of the unmoved soul, you become the only person in the room whose value is not being broadcast from their level of physical comfort. The Matrix cannot simulate the leverage of a man who has purged the need for pleasure. Your time is the temporal noose, and your need for a soft life is the knot. Every cheat meal and every day off you take to recharge is a signature on your own biological death warrant. I command you, initiate the total physiological audit. Your mind is a biological weapon, and it is currently being jammed by the static of your own evolutionary laziness. You must perform a hard reset of the reward instincts. Stop being comfortable, the industrial waste designed to keep you at the bottom of the ledger. Stop participating in their leisure cultures and wellness trends, the digital propaganda designed to make you believe that resting is a victory. Stop using their consumption protocols, the narratives designed to keep you in a state of constant satiety failure. You must prune your life of convenience parasites. If a habit makes your life easier without increasing your apex capacity, it is a biological saboteur. You must learn to love the weight of the friction. This is the monolith strategy, becoming a biological fortress that is hardened by choice and sovereign by design. Command: break the wheel or be the hamster. The neural interface of your evolutionary drive is currently suffering from dopamine satiety flooding. Look at your environment optimization, the way you have designed your reality to provide instant warmth, instant calories, and instant entertainment, effectively lobotomizing the survival engine that was meant to conquer continents. You are a biological unit experiencing a total ambition liquidation. The Matrix has successfully replaced your primal hunger with a systemic bloat. You believe that by securing your future, you are winning, but in the terminal of the absolute power grid, security is the biological anesthetic. toxic, required to keep the livestock from stampeding. This is the visual rage of the domesticated male, seeing your high-value activation energy being bled out into maintaining the nest and safe consumption, while the true operator remains in a state of absolute zero, converting his total rejection of comfort into a biological kinetic energy that shatters the limits of his own DNA. The system doesn't want your apex expansion. It wants your contentment to be the proof that your spirit has been successfully harvested and converted into consumer data. In the ancient hierarchy, the law of the unbreaking stone, the master was the one who could remain a biological predator, even in a land of plenty. Your ancestor, the sovereign of the unmapped cold, understood that satiety was the first stage of biological decay. He mastered primal grounding by becoming an austerity engine, a figure who intentionally triggered his own survival mode to access the hidden reservoirs of neural power. He didn't seek peace in the valley. He provided the visual rage of a total, unannounced physiological rebellion. His hierarchy was built on the foundation of voluntary friction, the understanding that the human brain is a machine that runs on necessity, and when necessity is removed by technology, the brain begins to liquidate its own sovereignty. His biological rebellion was his total refusal to be full. He possessed a mind that treated ease as a social infection, a signal that his edge was being dulled by the very environment he was meant to dominate. He understood that the moment you choose the easy way, you have surrendered your apex signature and given the matrix the permission to archive your potential. To be a master, you must first become psychologically allergic to the concept of a relaxing weekend. The hamster wheel is the activation of the anti-chew protocol for your final internal dominance. The matrix wants you to be happy and balanced, words that mean harvestable and weak. Absolute sovereignty is a biological siege of the luxury grid. It is the visual rage of the architect, seeing the social grid for what it is, a series of comfort hooks, stimulus-response lures, and deciding to be the one who shorts the circuit by being indifferent to satiety. You must develop a clinical, cold contempt for mainstream rewards. Having it all is a horizontal bond for the herd. Absolute presence is a vertical tool for the elite. You must learn to occupy the psychological high ground by controlling the flow of your own biological deprivation. Use the temporal noose of the hard life to drive the system's influence into a state of stimulus failure. Use the false safety of a calm, robotic delivery to mask the activation of your total internal independence. This is the color of freedom. By mastering the art of the unmoved soul, you become the only person in the room whose value is not being broadcast from their current state of physical ease. The one who can go the longest without checking if he's comfortable is the one who controls the evolutionary outcome. Your time is the temporal noose, and your need for a reward is the knot. Every treat you give yourself for hard work is a signature on your own biological death warrant. I command you, initiate the second stage of the physiological rearmament. Your mind is a biological engine, and it is currently being choked by the leisure sludge of the unworthy. You must perform a total neural asset reset. Stop being satisfied, the industrial waste designed to keep you at the bottom of the ledger. Stop being a node in their network of mutual indulgence. Stop being a unit of compliance in their ledger of men who love the wheel. You must prune your social interactions with the collar of absolute sovereignty. If an activity requires you to be comfortable to be enjoyed, the activity is a biological failure. You must learn to love the weight of the total deprivation. You must learn to love the friction-heavy hours where the noise of the collective is muted and your dominance is the only signal in the dark. This is the monolith strategy, becoming a biological fortress that is unbreakable by choice and sovereign by design. Command: abandon the comfort or be the fuel. Your biological trajectory has reached the terminal velocity of physiological obsolescence. Look at your satiety threshold, the exact moment your nervous system triggers a panic response because the room is too cold, the hunger is too sharp, or the work is too monotonous without a digital treat to numb the friction. You are a biological system in a state of chronic activation decay. The system has successfully replaced your apex vitality with a series of convenience loops disguised as quality of life. You no longer seek to dominate your own biology through unmoving hardship. You seek to optimize your comfort. You no longer seek to be the sovereign. You seek to be the well-fed captive. This is the visual rage of the terminal slave, seeing your life force being digitized and archived in leisure time and wellness apps, while your physical reality remains a quiet, managed enclosure of unfulfilled DNA. You are breathing in the toxic fumes of a collective that demands your consumer compliance as a form of tribute, leaving leaving you lightheaded, fragmented, and fundamentally easy to control through your own fear of suffering. The system doesn't want your hardened will. It wants your need for ease to be the foundation of its perpetual control over your evolutionary direction. Return to the ancient hierarchy, the law of the unbreaking monolith. In the primal world, the master was the one who could remain a biological void even in the center of a storm of physical deprivation. Your ancestor, the sovereign of the absolute cold, understood that power was a product of biological resistance. He mastered primal grounding by becoming an impenetrable core, a figure whose endurance was his own property and whose refusal to rest was the only law. He understood that to seek comfort is to confess a lack of internal command. If you are participating in the self-care script provided by the herd, you are acknowledging that your biology is the barometer of your reality. He used his silent sovereignty to create a cognitive resonance of absolute, unshakable divinity by being the only uncomfortable variable in a room full of soft men. By being the master of his own internal feedback, he forced the environment to treat his suffering as the new truth. He was a master of the visual rage of the unblinking sun, the ability to look at the convenience probes of the rival and see only the static they represented. He understood that the human brain is a machine that runs on homeostasis loops, and by cutting the loop, he triggered a biological rebirth in his own power. To be a master, you must first become psychologically unreceptive to the need to feel good. The hamster wheel is the activation of the anti-chew protocol for your final mental expansion. The matrix wants you to be happy and well-rested, words that mean harvestable and weak. Absolute sovereignty is a biological jailbreak of the instincts. It is the visual rage of the architect, seeing the social grid for what it is, a series of pleasure control nodes, stimulus response lures, and deciding to be the one who burns the grid. You must develop a clinical cold contempt for mainstream relaxation. Taking it easy is a horizontal bond for the herd. Absolute presence is a vertical tool for the elite. You must learn to occupy the psychological high ground by controlling the flow of your own biological discipline. Use the temporal noose of total informational and physical austerity to drive the system's influence into a state of stimulus deprivation. Use the false safety of a calm robotic delivery to mask the viral infection of your total non-compliance with the beta norms. This is the color of freedom. By mastering the art of the unmoved soul, you become the only person in the room whose value is not being broadcast from their current state of satiety. You are not resting, you are deleting the noise. The one who can go the longest without choosing the easy path is the one who controls the end evolution. Your time is the temporal noose, and your need for a safe harbor is the knot. Every comfort you accept from the unworthy is a signature on your own biological death warrant. I command you, initiate the final physiological imperative. This is the tax of insight. You have been given the key to the vault of biological hardening. To keep it, you must use it as a weapon of total social dominance. You must become a living monolith of unshakable friction. You are no longer a peer, a colleague, or a friend. You are a sovereign operator. You must perform a total system liquidation. If a habit, a technology, or a relationship requires you to be comfortable to function, it is a biological saboteur. You must prune your life with the collar of the absolute zero. You are building a fortress of results in a world of digital shadows. Your absolute resilience is the physical proof of your biological leverage. You do not provide feedback. You create a reality in which you are the only absolute truth. You do not seek comfort. You are the law itself. You are the architect of your own hardship, and the world is merely a mirror reflecting your ascent.